Hello. It is the evening of August 17, 2018. Hope you're well. So, are you all having as much fun as I am during what seems to be a huge transition phase that we're going through on the planet? We've had a lot of, well, not a lot, we've had several, I guess, astrological events with eclipses and full moons and blood moon and all of this kind of thing happening, and they say it affects us. There's some idea of that. But anyway, for whatever the reason, many of us are experiencing intense emotions, situations happening in our lives right now, and challenges. So that's what we're going to talk about right now, because and we've said it before and we're going to say it again. It's not easy. It's not easy, folks. And some folks say that when we signed up for this, that a call went out. The planet was going to be needing some volunteers to help change things here for the better, for humanity. And if that's true, I'm sure a lot of us are scratching our heads right now like, what the hell was I thinking? It's pretty intense. Some of the stuff going on right now. And it's just, but what are we talking about here? Being kind of ambiguous here. What exactly are we talking about here? We're just feeling things more intensely than we have before. It seems like a lot of us are being brought into situations or put in circumstances where it feels like we're being tested. Not like tested by God to see how righteous we are or anything, not that kind of thing, but like tested in fire to see if the things that we think we believe in, the ideals that we hold, if they can stand up to different situations, different tests. And some of the things that we've been holding on to are not standing up. That's what we're talking about. Some of the beliefs that we held and even cherished are being tested right now. Not necessarily religious ideas and beliefs, although that's included, could be those things, but even just ideas we had about people, other people, ourselves, about just some things that maybe have been instilled in us by the people around us, that we just kind of took it for granted those things were true, and it kind of made life maybe easier to the thing to do with these ideas in place. And that's challenging when we've held on to ideas and beliefs, and then now we're questioning, because those are things that also play into who we identify ourselves as. Our beliefs, the things that we think we understand or thought we understood. It just seems like humanity has been searching for answers, and that just seems to be kind of inborn in us, understanding. And we sort of feel a little better when we think, okay, so that, and that squared away. Those explanations and ideas work. So good. Then it makes us feel a little better, a little less floaty in this place, kind of like we're standing on solid ground, at least for some things. Gives this sense of security. It makes it easier to get up the next day and function when we, on some level, feel like, okay, some of this makes sense. But a lot of that's falling apart now because, and in the United States, a lot of that's falling apart because things that seem to have been kind of kept out of the public's awareness for a very, very long time are now surfacing. They're rising to the surface. And like some folks, they understood that, okay, this is this and this is this. That's the way it is. And some folks thought we'd gotten past certain, and we'll call them phobias, and like discriminations and things. But a lot of that stuff is just in plain view now, and it's causing us to question the things that we thought had been either alleviated, or at least to a point where it was much, much better. So, and those systems that many of us have believed in, that, and that we believed they were being open and honest and upfront with us, telling us the truth, we're realizing, ooh, no, not really. A lot of it was absolutely not truth. That's shaky. That's very difficult, but that's what's happening right now is, things are coming out. People are, and many people have liked to keep their head in the sand, but now it's almost impossible to do that because, the world is a smaller place now because everything is accessible. We can know what's really happening. Not everything, but a lot. Another thing that's coming up for many of us, myself included, is we're being brought into circumstances that are helping us to grow. And that sounds good on paper, but it doesn't feel good necessarily. So some of us have grown and we've come to some level of understanding. Some, obviously not a complete, but some. And that's a good thing. But right now, we're being put in circumstances that are showing us what's left. At least that's my experience right now. We're being brought into situations for those of us who are serious about, I want to grow, I want to understand not just the world that I'm sensing, but my essence. I want to understand that, and I want to align my physical person with the essence that I am deep inside. For those of us who are serious about that, about really, like I said, finding that balance and aligning our physical, emotional, mental, spiritual aspects, we are, those things are coming to our awareness that have been kind of hidden under the surface, that we haven't really seen in ourselves. But those things that are still working against us, working against the growth that we really want, that we're really open to move toward becoming what we're meant to become. And just like for people who are coming to awareness about things going on in the outside world, the physical outside world around us, and maybe are disillusioned now because things are not as they seemed. Those of us who are coming to a better awareness of what's been lying beneath the surface within ourselves that are hindering our growth in some way, that's not easy either. So that's what's happening right now, and we're going to have to do a second part on this. I always say that, huh? You're like, yeah, we're waiting for the second part on like a dozen other ones. But anyway, we're just going to introduce these ideas right now. That's what's happening. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing that these things are happening because it's moving. It's moving in a direction that's good. All that dross has to come up, and it has to get skimmed off. Okay? So, we're diamonds. We're diamonds taking shape. We're becoming better versions of ourselves, so to speak. Or we're just growing. And it sounds like maybe it would be a little easier than harder, but it's not easy. But that's where we're at, folks. So just want to say before this gets too long that while we're going through this, just know that it's something that's happening around the globe right now. It really is. There's real changes happening in the world right now, and we're not gonna get into all of that right now, but many of you already know that. You can feel that, and you have on some level, you do know that on some level. But just the good thing is that these growth spurts, we'll call them, they come in waves, and it gets really intense sometimes. Sometimes, personally, speaking for myself, it becomes very intense, and I have to let it out. You know, that's not weakness when we have to shed tears or just kind of get away from everything and everybody for a while. It's good for us to release. So if that's something you're experiencing, just know you can find some comfort knowing that it's temporary. These growth spurts, they come and then it settles for a bit, for a little while. Just enough time to take your breath, have a glass of water, and then they come again. But maybe in the next installment, we'll talk about what's really happening on a very deep level when we allow the changes to occur, when we accept what is, when we don't resist it for what we would prefer, for what's easier, but that's not really for our highest good. It comes, it settles down, and then it comes again, and there's a lot happening within us at those times that we can't really perceive. But anyway, so that's all. Hopefully this has been encouraging for someone, and we'll develop this out more soon. As always, we want to wish you much love. Bye.